Hello, Alicia Williams here on location for locations, lifestyle and business. And joining me today is the lovely Ashleigh Goodchild over from South Perth and her real estate agency, SOCO, Realty, got that right. And we're talking all things business and lifestyle. It's great to have Ash here. I met her a few years ago as part of the Elite Agent Transform program. And it's great to have a bit of a chat and reflect on who we were, how far we've come and what's new. So Ash, tell everyone a little bit about who you are and your story so far.
Excellent, thanks for having me. So I am the director at SOCO Realty in South Perth. So our office is very hyper-local and we are a couple of minutes from the central CBD. And the main thing for me at the moment is that I do our marketing, our business development, and we run a team of 10 in our office doing property management and sales.
So have you always done sales and property management, or was there one that came before the other, or how did it roll for you?
Yeah, for us, because I'm in business with my brother-in-law Bill, and he does the sales and I do the property management. So we always went in with both departments. But over time, the Perth market's fluctuated so much that one has become stronger than the other. So we've had two really bad hits in Perth. So our sales department and our property management started off quite consistently. We started from 0 properties. And then as time's has gone along, we have got a very strong property management department, and our sales department has dropped down, but we're quite happy with that situation in our office.
So you mentioned there that obviously the Perth market has had 2 hits. Would you say that's been one of the biggest challenges or 2 of the biggest challenges, or is there something else that's a personal, professional challenge for you?
Yeah, so for us, definitely the 2 hits, but I guess we learned by it. But Bill and I are, we're great real estate agents and we are great bosses, but we actually only, our bank account was our budget. So if we had money in the bank, we spent it, and we didn't actually really understand balance sheets and profit and losses. So for us, when our timing was really good. So we started in 2006. Then in 2010, there was a great big spike in Perth. So it was an unreal sort of time to be selling and making money. But then it crashed really hard. And so we had gone from having a good income, money in the bank, and then having to start looking at everything, all our books. So that was a big challenge for us. And we got through it, but it took us a couple of years to recover. And to be honest, we have just recovered financially as a business, and then COVID's hit. But do you know what? I think we have done better than most agents, because we had already gone through and done a real business cleanse years before, because we had no choice to. So we were used to it. We're running such a clean ship because from a couple of years ago that COVID's hit, and it's pretty cool because we don't have to make too many drastic decisions. So business-wise, that was a big learning curve for us. And bringing people in that do specialise in bookkeeping and finance and helping us understand it, that was a big move for us, which if I had started again in business, that would have been the first thing I did. We were a bit slow on the mark. And then, personally, we've been pretty good and pretty strong. Always, I've had 3 children and then a marriage separation in between having a business. So that's always been a struggle, but children are always going to be, a balance. And I actually just did a post recently, which was talking about the work-life tilt, which I think we learned at Transform a few years ago.
Yeah.
Fiona Blaney that actually said it's not a balance, it's just a tilt. So some days work has to be priority, and sometimes the kids, and that's my motto to get through everything.
Yeah, I think that's good. There's another lady that taught me about that a long time ago, Judy Reynolds. I'll give her a shameless plug, but it's called intentional imbalance. So you just know that during a certain period of time, you give yourself permission to be out of balance, so that you know that for the next 6 months you have to focus more on this, but that means this will be a lesser factor in your life. And then having those deadlines and timelines and knowing when to transition and transition out, but by giving yourself that permission then your internal dialogue changes, and then your mindset changes, and you're not thinking, oh, you know, like I'm not doing that and I'm not doing that. But you know, it's okay, that's actually okay for the moment because my main priority is this, because our priorities always change and your value proposition sort of changes. So that's interesting. But what's your big goal going forward? Anything on the agenda?
My goal, yes. Oh, sorry, I just had to answer that goal.
Oh, where did I write that down? Yeah.
Well, only because, like, you know, like business for us is a real lifestyle choice, and so for us, it's not that goal orientated because we like just to run a nice business. It gives us a nice lifestyle flexibility, and that's our plan, and that's what we've got. But so when I thought about a goal, I would say that my main thing would be that with my labour at the moment, I want to maximise my labour. So I've got room to bring in another maybe 80 properties, rental properties, utilising existing staff. So then my staff are all maximised and I don't need to bring anyone else in. So I think that that makes sense being a goal. But am I, you know, jumping over people to get to it? Not really.
Yeah.
I'm skipping around them, you know.
Did Fiona teach you nothing?
I know, but you know, it's always in the back of my mind, and I will. But to be honest, lifestyle for me is more important with young children, and but that goal is in the back of my mind, and we'll get there just naturally as business grows.
Yeah, and I think there's a good, even though you haven't really written it down, and there's no plan per se, there's a lot to be said for energy and having that abundance mindset, and people will be gravitating towards you because they can see the good things and good work that you're doing, and coming from a place of genuine sincerity. It's not this false, you know, this lifestyle. And people always think these real estate agents have this lifestyle, and you know, some of them might live at high. I think there was a guy, was it over in Perth, he just got done for stealing signs.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, hot goss on the real estate pipeline. But we're not all high flyers. There's a lot of us that do the big hours, do the big work, and you grind away for 7 years like I know I did, and finally you have this amazing team that can give you great value, not only to your clients but to your business. And you talk about lifestyle. It's important for us, even with our new shop that we're doing now, that's a big goal for us, to make it a lifestyle office, and having those biophilic design elements, lots of natural light, greenery, real greenery, not fake greenery, and enabling people to have that, again, abundance mindset, having a clear mind, have a space that they come to work and have that energy, and thrive off one another. So I think that's really, really important. So good that you've got a goal. That's very, very good. Love it. Love it. Let's talk shop now and real estate industry, and the importance, in your opinion, of people going with an independent agency, not only from a staff proposition, like the people you attracted to your business, why they would go to an independent, but then also clients. What sort of is your ideal client and why should they come to you?
Yeah, so our South Perth is a very family orientated place. So we've got lots of good schools. We actually have more independents in our area than we do franchise. So that's not for us.
Wow.
In South Perth, yeah, and really long-term independence. I had a situation, and I really love this, and it's the first time somebody's ever said it. I was up against an independent agency who's been around for 30 years, and I was meeting a new client who had a couple of properties, and he actually, it was between the two of us, and he actually turned around to me and said, you know what, Ash, he goes, that company has had their heyday. They've been around for 30 years. Their children are growing up, and they've had their time. Now it's time for me to support a company that's been around for 15 years. They're still
wow.
But someone who's got young children, because I'd rather my money go to you. And no one's ever said it like that. I know it's such a touching thing. So really, for us, being independent and being hyper-local, like for us, our kids go to school locally. We're situated right on a cafe strip. We interact with families because that's where our children are. So everyone sort of knows us and the kids. So, and we're not that high flyer type real estate agent that, like you mentioned, where you will see me going down to Coles in my UGG boots on a Sunday morning. I don't really care
Yeah.
who sees,
Yeah.
because people just want real people. And another funny one was I had a client come in, a new client come and see me, must have been about 4 years ago now, and he steps in the office and he goes, I'm sick of walking into this office full of high heels, lipstick and perfume, so I'm coming in here to see you. And I was like, I don't know if I should be offended or like delighted right now, because it's a catch-22.
I think.
And I'm not saying that I dress like, a homeless person. I dress nicely, but I dress to the same maybe level. And, in terms of interacting with clients, people just want to use people that are similar to them, that they trust, that they like, and not someone who thinks they're above them, not someone that thinks they're below them. We're just very fortunate that from an interaction point of view, we are all on the same level as all our clients. And we have a good older clientele, and we just get on well with everybody. And even to be honest, even the local real estate agencies, we're all friends with them because all our kids went to school together. So it's a very different area that we're in. And everyone knows everyone, and it's very rare these days to go into an appointment for us and have competition of 3 people. Normally, our clients will just call us up if they want us to sell. We tell them how, what the price and the marketing will be for the property, and then they just go ahead, as opposed to all of this competition. It's not really relevant for us. In some sections of Perth it is, but just not in our South Perth. So a bit of a long-winded answer, but it's really just, I just think we're at the same level as our clients. And
And definitely you touched on it with the hyperlocal thing. If people want to do business with people that are real, that they trust. There's a little bit in the Sherlaw's business stuff that we're listening to at the moment, your business of brand. Definitely check it out if you've got time. They're doing a free series. Shameless plug for those guys. You owe me, Tim. But they do talk about that, and they've gone past the big companies and that kind of branding. They want, real people and to have those connections. So definitely good on you, but I think that's the value of independence essentially, and you can make changes really quickly too.
Yeah, absolutely. And our business is just based on Bill's and my personality. It's not based on a franchise's personality, and that's a big thing that I'm passionate about, is with social media. And you get these franchises, and it's just the same boring thing, really. And there's not a personality behind it, and it needs to be somewhat raw as well. So
yeah, one of the things I find really amazing with those agency brands too is, and probably giving away our biggest thing, but there's no space on the signboard, so it's so depersonalized. Yet people are like, oh, do I actually want to phone that person? What do they look like? Because there's so much prejudice and stuff that comes from even just a signboard. People are like, oh, do I want to do business with that person? Even just their face, that aesthetic, that gives them so much information about their decision making, because you really don't have that second chance at a positive impression. So that's one really interesting thing.
We've also, I was just going to say, in Perth as well, like we've had a lot of the smaller portfolios sell to the bigger companies. These are a couple of independents, but a lot of franchises. And that was my main source of new management this year, where the small time agents had sold to the big time players. And then the clients have caught up and said, listen, we really are just getting lost in the whole system. And, we want to just come back. So for us, like, we're considered a medium-ish. We've got 550 properties, so it's considered medium, maybe bordering on the larger side of most people. But, clients can call up and, that they've got a 3-year-old at home, that they've got 2 kids at school, that they've just come back from holiday, and that.
Yeah, so personalization, yeah. And I know there's systems and stuff out there for that, but if you're having the right conversations with your clients, you just know that. And I feel like social media has been that beautiful catalyst for us to be able to keep tabs on everyone without having, a physical phone conversation all the time, because we just don't have that many slices of the pie to go around in the modern age. Mindful of time, so I know we've got lots of good things to say.
No, sorry.
No, that's okay. I don't want it to cut out. We've talked about the value of being independent. Do you have a word of advice for other business owners? You sort of touched on it before when you said, if we had our time again, we'd come back and, get those advisors, but is there something else that's a bit of a stickler for you?
Yeah, for me, and I'll probably just reword it, is or what I notice with other companies. So number one is my word of advice is and this is for Perth market as well. Pay attention to the property management department. We have and the fees and how much it actually costs to look after a property every year, and making sure that if you do reduce fees, you don't reduce below that. Really, it's very stereotypical, but a lot of agencies are owned by a sales rep, generally a male sales rep, and they don't really have the interest of, they don't understand property management and figures. So they're just about numbers. So they're like, yeah, we want to get 100 properties, 200 properties, 300. But then they don't actually think of the cost of it. So what's recently happened with COVID is that these agencies who have dropped their fees down quite a lot in the past have, now that COVID's happened and their business expenses have dropped down so far, they now need to readdress their expenses, with labour being the most expensive, and then their property management department having to take a hit. And so I think knowing property management numbers is massive. That's a number one, which people just don't, that surprises me. Number two, don't treat your bank balance as your budget, because it's not.
Yeah, it's just a living account. Yeah.
So, and I'll actually tell you something very personal, and something that I should have done a long time ago and I didn't, and I don't know whether people do it or not.
Lucky we're recording. Hey, Ashleigh.
I'm pretty open. I should have always had a tax account.
Yeah.
Where I transfer money every week to the tax account. We didn't do that, and as stupid as it sounds, that was for us as we grew bigger, and you got to pay more taxes. That was a pretty big issue. So that is they're my business
and they're very, very valid. And again, people will generally start a business idea because they're good at that business idea. They're not necessarily good at bookkeeping or accounting or planning. They're all different things that you add on, and then you see the cost of an advisor, and generally it's viewed as an expense. You're like, oh, should I go there? But then it ends up costing you sometimes more. And if you pick the wrong person, it can cost you just as much again. So there's a lot of hesitation in business there, and you don't know what you don't know. I know for myself now, even with zero touch payroll, and using Xero, because we use Xero as a business, having an accounting background, I'm familiar with it anyway. So I could do all my bookkeeping, but that's not where my core genius is. So my core genius is with people, as you know. So you have really good bookkeeper. Shout out to Sasha, because she's amazing. But going in there and being able to just, tick and flick the super, and then it's done. That kind of stuff is really, really good. But having a tax account is brilliant. There was a time, of course, for a few years in our Gladstone market, I'm sure you've experienced the same, and we're only just playing catch up now. Like, it's been a really long grind. You just didn't have that money. And you get, have every intention of putting away the BAS money, but then other expenses are coming up. The labour's going through the roof. You're just like, holy dooly, like, I'm not paying myself and hadn't done for a long period of time. Where does that money come from? So it's good to finally, you get down. We had, as part of Elite, and Transform, get in there and just analyse everything. There was nothing more we could cut out of our business. I remember cutting out $100,000 worth of expenses in one entity. There was nothing else to cut. That wasn't wages. So, you do that exercise and you get to really know who you are, your spending habits, what your priorities are, and where you've got to go. Different story now, but it's just another different set of problems. It always develops and changes. Yeah.
Absolutely. And like, one thing that I do is there's 4 independents that catch up on a monthly basis, and we talk to each other about business. We go through our figures, we go through everything, work out where we can save, work out different business options and marketing. And that's probably another massive thing. These business owners that go in there and think that they do know everything, and try and operate it based on only what they know, are really setting themselves up for failure. And you need to get yourself a little group of people that you catch up with, bounce ideas off, know what's normal in other businesses and what's not normal, and that is really like actually probably number one business tip is to have that group of
Yeah, to have
like-minded
your
people.
tribe. Yeah, I think so. People who are just brutally honest with you.
Yeah.
Moving along, any final words?
For
A
my final
dangerous
words,
question to ask a real estate agent. How long have we got? Where's happy hour?
you might just cut off on me. Final words. I would say, you know what? I'm going to be optimistic. I still think people should buy property in Perth. I think we're still going good. Buy property, make smart decisions with buying. My personal tip is not to buy in a complex with a lift or a pool or a gym. That's a big problem, but I think buying land within 10 k's of the city is very relevant for Perth people, and yeah, I think that real estate is still a strong game. So for buyers.
Yeah, I think so. You look at some of the big firms over in America, even, you know, all the GFCs and things and COVID, they're still there and they're still evolving because people always need somewhere to live. And I've always said that. And real estate agents don't necessarily create the market. Buyers and sellers create the market. For all those people out there that like to say that real estate agents push the prices up and then also subsequently push them down. Very interesting. Ashleigh, if people want to get in touch with you, how can they find you?
They can find me all over social media, SOCO Realty, and also Perth Property Manager on Instagram. And my number is 0893678877.
I'm not going to repeat that because there's no way I'm going to remember it. It will be in the notes. Thank you so much, Ashleigh. We do appreciate your time and have a fabulous afternoon.
Thank you, you too.